We've been reporting here some breaking news that for the first time in many months there have been several large explosions in the Ukrainian capital Kyiv. It seems like things there have been escalating, doesn't it?
Yeah, first time the city has been targeted in many, many months. We're just going to show you the moment a missile went over the head of our correspondent Hugo Bachega. You can hear the sound as it passes really close by. Watch this.
Was hit more than a dozen.
That was Hugo live on the BBC about an hour ago. Well, he joins us now live from Kyiv. We're glad to see that you're safe and you're OK there, Hugo. Just explain as much as you can about where you are and what you've been through.
So we're here in the shelter of our hotel. Obviously, we came here after we heard that sound of what appeared to be a missile here over Kyiv, and it hit a location very close to our hotel here in the city center. We understand that several explosions have happened here in the capital, and we had an update from the emergency services saying that several people have been killed and wounded as a result of these attacks that happened after 8 o'clock in the morning here in Kyiv. And all morning we've been talking about the possibility and the fear here in Ukraine of a strong Russian response to that explosion on Saturday that hit the Crimea bridge. A very significant explosion because the bridge is very symbolic. It was opened by President Putin in 2018. It's a personal project to perhaps symbolize that Crimea was Russian. So it is very important for President Putin personally. So there was the fear today that some strong response was going to come from Russia. And it seems that we're seeing it this morning with the capital being attacked and several cities across the country being hit as well this morning.
And Hugo, I suppose the question now is what will the response be of the Ukrainian government and the Ukrainian people to the fact that the capital has now been hit in this way? Because for the last few months you've been telling us that Kyiv itself has felt somewhat safe.
Yeah, there was a sense of a weird normal here in Kyiv because it was a city that hadn't been attacked for quite some time. The front lines are very distant from this capital. So there was a sense that life, as much as possible, was returning to normal. Restaurants were busy, bars were busy. I think this morning, people woke up and were just carrying on with their lives. There was no, perhaps, expectation that the city center was going to be hit. We heard in the last few days that cities in the south, especially the city of Zaporizhia, was being targeted. But it's quite shocking, actually, that the city has been hit this way. Early in the morning, the city center has been hit. And I was starting to understand what has happened. We haven't heard any kind of official confirmation in terms of the locations that have been hit. The number of people who've been killed, wounded. We're still here in the bunker of our hotel. But it is incredibly significant that the city, again, has been hit in this war.
Hugo, just looking at our inbox, lots of people saying enormous respect for you and your team there who are sort of facing it and dealing with that kind of stress of what you've seen this morning and then having to go on air and report it. How do you deal with it just on a personal level when something like that happens and then you have to go on air and you have to explain to us what's happening and you're trying to research and discover the latest? I mean, that's a lot to deal with.
Well, that's a little bit personal, right? I was prepared to talk about the news and, the details of what's happening here. I think we're here to tell the story. Obviously, we go through extensive training. There is a great deal of support in terms of high-risk teams, in terms of our colleagues here looking after each other. So I think that's why we're here, broadcasting live from the bunker, because we want to tell the story. But there is a lot of training and preparation that goes on behind the scenes to bring this broadcast live to you.